hello. Welcome back to the coffee chat. Welcome to October. I have had the hardest time remembering what month it has been for the last week or two or three. And I keep thinking it's already October, but it's not October yet. And then also I keep skipping November in my head. So I'm like, oh, it's October and then it's December, and that's also not correct. So we're just having a real hard time, but we're going to celebrate October with a coffee chat as per usual. In this one specifically, we're going to be talking about, what are we talking about? Oh, prepping for the fall. We're going to talk about the economy and other things going on and just have a little chit chat. So go grab some coffee. I'm gonna grab something. I'm probably gonna make iced coffee because first of all, it is still warm outside. Actually, today we're down to 77, so we're really doing well, but it's really cloudy also. And then the other thing is because I know I'm not gonna finish it by the end of the video, and then it's gonna be cold anyway, and our microwave hasn't worked for like a year. So iced coffee it is, and it'll have to be caramel because I did not. Ooh, peanut butter cup sold. Let's do that. All right. I actually went with a caramel macchiato in my little Mickey mug, so all is right with the world after I let my dog in. Please hold. Okay, we're back. Hopefully she's gonna chill out and everything's gonna be fine. Anyway, hey, hi, hello. Lovely to see you. So glad that you're here. We are gonna chat about everything that's going on. So first of all, September. I always like to start with, the last month, and September was kind of a lot. I feel like it was chaotic. I think I did a fairly good job at instilling routines in September, which I desperately needed. So I did a good job of when I come home, this is what I do. When I wake up, this is what I do. Waking up on time, those kind of things, which is really, really good and really, really helpful because August I felt like was just really chaotic trying to get back in the swing of things. But there was still a lot of good stuff going on in September. And so it just kind of has been crazy. Not that it's going to slow down at all. But that's where we are. In September, I finished 3 books. So I finished actually 2 of them last night. So I finished, let's see, Harry Potter, book 4, Goblet of Fire, and book 5, Order of the Phoenix. I finished Order of the Phoenix yesterday. I also yesterday finished my next Hercule Poirot book, which was Lord Edgware Dies. Did not see that one coming. I'm also very excited because the next one is Murder on the Orient Express, which is one of the big ones. So I want to go to the store and see if they have a fancy version of that one because it's one of her really top ones. But that's what I finished up this year. It was interesting. So 4 I feel is everybody's favorite one. I have never been a fan, and I was wondering if it was just the movie that I didn't love or if the book also felt slow to me, but the book also felt slow to me. So I finished the book and I was like, oh, this is difficult. Order of the Phoenix I finished super quickly. I don't know. I find it much more interesting than 4. 4 I just have a hard time with somehow, which is ironic because for Halloween, my school does a book character parade, and our team has decided to dress up like Harry Potter characters, and I'm gonna be Fleur Delacour, which is someone who's in the 4th book. That's where she's introduced, mostly because I've always wanted her hat, and so I'm very excited to wear her hat. I need to order that pretty soon, probably, just to get on top of things. I've been trying to get things ahead of time, be more on top of things, just in general, looking ahead, so there's quite a few things I need to order now for presents for people in October, things I need to wear in October or November, and just kind of making sure that everything is set and ready so I'm not stressing at the last minute. So that's something I need to work on. As far as TBT has gone, I just want to be really transparent and tell you that sales have been way down. August is typically one of my biggest months of the year, and it was down by thousands this year for me personally. This month, actually, I'm doing okay now, and I'll tell you why in a second, but I'm still probably going to be 500 less than last year. I'm still in the 5 figures, but less than last year. And there's a lot of things that go into that. It's so hard. You know, people will ask me, they're like, oh, my sales are down from last year, or oh, my sales are up. Like, what's causing it this way or that way? There's so many factors that go into it. So it's really hard to pinpoint and be like, oh, this is the thing that happened. For me personally, I don't know, you know, because like my email list is bigger than it was, and my Instagram is bigger than it was, and I do have more products. I didn't make as many products this past year, but I think one of the main things, honestly, right now is the economy isn't fabulous. I don't know if you're feeling it, but we have definitely been feeling the inflation recently here, and you know, I was thinking about it and I was like, well, I'm spending way less money than I have in the past, which is in part because I'm bringing in a little bit less money. It's mostly because I've been trying to be like super responsible with my money and invest and pay things off and save. And like, I'm really, really, really trying to like, that was one of my big habits this year, was like budgeting, sticking to the budget, putting money in savings, putting money here, and just kind of like making sure I'm, you know, adulting with my money. And so that's been a big thing for me. That's probably the main thing about it. But still, like, there's a lot of things we have not been purchasing, or we've been buying less of. We've been trying to like scrape by. There's a lot of even little things like skincare. I, you know, was buying Tula everything, and now I'm down to only buying Tula moisturizer, and I'm using like cheap stuff for face cleaners and stuff like that. And so just different things like that. I changed my makeup remover to something cheaper. It's just kind of like in the air right now of trying to kind of hone down. So if you are like, oh my gosh, I, you know, have made less than previous years, I'm not saying that's why, but it could be a big reason why you are making less. I also was talking to my friend who runs ads on her TBT stuff. I don't run ads on any of my stuff, which maybe I should, maybe that would help. But I don't currently run any ads on anything. And she said that in the past, like her bundle ads have done the best. And recently individual products have been doing better than bundles. And so what she took that to mean, what I took that to mean, was that people are maybe spending a little bit less money and maybe less willing to spend, you know, $30 or whatever on a bundle, but in that way are more okay spending $5, $4, that kind of stuff. So I've been kind of trying to experiment with that, and I've been changing up my email list strategy a little bit so that it flows a little better. So what I've been doing recently is like Mondays I send like a roundup of here's 3 ways to do something, 5 ways to do something. Wednesday I send like a focus on one of those things we talked about, and then on Friday I send one product. And usually there's a bundle that does go with that, but I've been trying to send like individual products instead of a big product, or I'll be like, you know, also this is included in this bundle if you want to get, you know, more stuff. And so I'm kind of seeing how that goes. I don't have good data. I've also done nothing to track the data. So really we're just going on vibes right now. And so that's something I've been working on. Also been trying to get more people on the email list. And yeah, now this month I have made a little bit of a comeback the last 2 days because I threw a sale, which I don't love when a sale is like the strategy to make more money, because I feel like that's not the most sustainable thing to do. That's not like money coming in all the time, but instead it's more of like a one-off thing. But it can be helpful if you need to make more money in a certain time. Here's my tip for you if you are throwing a sale on your own, not the TBT sale. First of all, if you do here's my main tip. Don't throw your whole Don't throw your whole store on sale if it's not a TBT sale. If it's not a TBT sale, I will put specific things on sale. So this sale that I ran was an October prep sale yesterday and today. And only the October-y things were on sale. So fall, Halloween, and Hispanic Heritage Month. Those were the 3 things that you could get on sale, which it encompasses a lot of things. It was like 200 products or something like that, but it's not everything. And what that does is it kind of narrows the focus. And so instead of being like, oh my gosh, everything's on sale, go shop the sale, it's like, hey, go buy Halloween lessons that you can use this month. Hey, go buy this that you can use this month. And that like narrowed down focus, I think, gives a little more urgency to people, and they're a little more inclined. They're like, oh, hey, things I need in October are on sale. So you don't have to call it an October prep sale. I've done in the past where it was like one specific product or centers were on sale or like things like that. But if you have, you know, some of your stuff instead of everything, that can be really helpful to the sale. The other thing I was thinking about sales is having a sale on your own really only works if you have an audience that's going to respond. I'm petting my dog, by the way. I'm not being weird. And so if you don't have anyone to talk to, you're not going to make any money in your sale. Like, it's not even worth it. I remember doing that. I did have an email list, but it had not that many people on it. And I threw a sale and literally nobody bought anything because I didn't have a good enough amount of people. I didn't have people who would respond well, you know, that kind of stuff. So remember that a normal conversion rate on the internet is like 1%. So if you have 100 people, you can expect maybe one sale. Hopefully your conversion rate is higher than that, but that's just like to put it in perspective. If you have 300 people on that email list, you could expect 3 click-throughs. Okay, maybe 3 sales. If you have 1,000 people, then maybe 10. So just like keep that in perspective when you're thinking about how many people are opening your emails, how many people are answering emails, how many people are buying things. It's not I have 100 people, 100 people are going to buy it. It's I have 100 people, 1 person is going to buy it. Maybe 3. Hopefully more, but that's kind of the range that you can expect. If you do not have an audience, a sale is not going to work for you. If it's not a TPT sale, and even then it's hard to do that. So if you haven't already, please go make an email list. Start now, because the thing is, it takes a while to get people on your email list, and I'm talking a while, not a day, not a week, not a month, a while. It takes a long time to get people on your email list. So if you start now, it's like the sooner you start, the more people you can get on your email list. Because, you know, if you wait and start until next month, then you lost that whole month of potentially getting people on there. So go start your email list. I will link down below my email list course if you want to have that. There's also a bunch of videos on my main channel that talk about email lists. If you don't want to do the course route, totally understand. But go start your email list. Okay. Now I have some other strategies that are currently in the works to hopefully help with that. I think also during like COVID distance learning, my sales were probably really inflated because people were getting stimulus checks, and also people just didn't know what to do. They didn't have stuff on their own. And so that, I think that we were like higher during those years. And so I have seen like decreases. And I think that's one of the big reasons. I think my store grew faster than it probably should have, realistically, if that makes sense. So we're working on it. I have some strategies in place. Currently, honestly, I am not in as much of a hustle mode as much as I used to be, because I used to be like, gotta work all the time, gotta get things up, gotta post. Now I'm more like, let me take my time and make things really, 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 really good. And if it's less, that's okay. So like I'm working on that first grade curriculum. I'm still working on it. I started it in June. It's been a minute. I have another thing in the background in the works, and it's a big thing. And then I have some like basics that all music teachers need that are gonna be coming next. And they're like maybe not as exciting and fun for me to make, but they're really important for people to have. And so I think that that's gonna help a lot. I have some updates that I need to get done. That's gonna help a lot. And so I have the things on the list. I have the plans. I'm working on executing them, but you know, it's always how much time do you have? And the answer is like none. So if we had more time, there's that. It's that pesky job thing. If I wasn't gone for 10 hours a day, it would help. It's only 8 hours of teaching, but then there's meetings and there's commute and there's traffic and there's getting ready in the morning. I'm aware. And I know you're like, okay, you make plenty of money, you could quit. I know. I have a plan. Right now, we're sticking it out. And I love teaching. Even right now, it's been a lot because I just really hate my schedule. My schedule has been exhausting. Like the way that the classes are, the order of the classes, the order of my day, I really hate it. It's really not working for me, and it's really stressing me out. But I also am like, you know what? I'm here and we're having a good time. It's fine. And I have been having a good time most of the time. So all that to say, if you have an audience, you can throw a sale, and that is a strategy you can use. And if you are looking at your sales and you're like, oh my gosh, why are my sales all of a sudden down? It could not necessarily be your fault. It could just be the state of the world that we are in. So just be aware of that. You know, there's a lot that you can do, but you can't fix everything. And so just, you know, bear that in mind as you're looking at your stuff. And not everything is something you need to freak out about, you know. If inflation is insane and you're not making as much money, that might be the reason. So it's okay. It's also really hard to talk about because it's like some people are in the same boat as me. Some people are doing great and their stores are growing, and that's awesome. I'm so happy for you. And there's other people who, you know, are still in the beginning phases and it's really like up and down. I will say the longer you do this, the more it like smooths out a little bit. So just bear that in mind and keep that going. I always ask for questions that y'all have, and one of the people on there was like, let's talk clothes and Disney trips, and I'm like, I haven't been buying clothes and there are no Disney trips on the books. I do have an Atlanta trip on the book. I'm going to the opera because husband and I have been trying to see as many operas as we can, specifically the Atlanta opera, just because it's close, we're familiar. It's like a 4-hour drive, so it's not super close. We do have to stay overnight, but we are headed that way for an opera trip. We are headed to Atlanta again for another concert in December, hopefully. Last year we went to Atlanta and then we went to Biltmore and had just like a nice cozy Christmassy getaway with the two of us, and it was so nice. And so I'm hoping we can do that this year. We just gotta kind of see how the money rolls out, but we shall see. But if you're like, I would love to talk clothes and Disney, yeah, me too, but we haven't had either of those things. Like I've been trying to adult. I've been trying to be very good. It's annoying, I won't lie, but here we are. Anyway, now that we are, however, talking about, you know, Christmas and the end of the year, this is your reminder that if you are going to be making some holiday resources, winter resources, Thanksgiving resources, all that stuff, you need to do it now. If you're planning to post something for Thanksgiving, it needs to be posted before the end of the month. If you're planning to post something for Christmas, it needs to be posted, I would say, by like November 15th, because people start buying Christmas stuff really early. Hanukkah, Kwanzaa, all of that. Get it done basically in October. On a comment, I don't remember if it was here or if it was on Instagram, but somebody said, they were like, if you go to Home Goods and that season is out, that's what you should be working on now. So like if you go to Home Goods, they already have Christmas stuff out. So you should be working on Christmas stuff because like that's what we're preparing for. Remember, you have to be ahead of things. So just, you know, this is your annual reminder to make sure that you are looking ahead and thinking ahead and doing all of those things. I think that's all. The only other question that I had was, there's one about like KDP. I don't have any interesting news on there. I'm gonna spend more time on it later, probably next year. But the other question I had was how to like set your store up for Autopilot if you're like going out of town or maternity leave or something like that. TBT, there's not a lot that you need to do to set it up on like Autopilot. It's really just already there. The main thing I would do is make sure if you are taking like a certain amount of time off for maternity leave, for whatever, make sure your featured products are not seasonal, because if you have like back to school resources up and it's November, that's going to feel weird. But if you just have like general evergreen things, it's not going to make a difference. So that would be that. You can schedule newsletters out in advance now, so I would maybe do that. But other than that, there's not a lot TBT wise that you need to do. Now, if you have content, that's where it gets more tricky, because you will want to make sure you're scheduling things out. You're not just like disappearing for a couple of months, because that's weird. So if you have videos, if you have blog posts, those kind of things, that's what you want to really focus on getting scheduled out. Instagram or like social media is kind of hard because on the app you can only schedule out like 2 weeks in advance, so that can be a little bit more difficult. But yeah, I would say just make sure your content is ready, get some newsletters scheduled. If you have an email list, schedule out your emails. Those are the things you want to make sure that are continually going. There's not much to do in the actual TPT. So that is what we've got. I'm gonna finish up my little iced caramel macchiato. Hi, you wanna say hi? That was almost really bad. Yeah, your tail is really a problem. No, hop. There you go. Hello, say hello. Hello. I want to talk to the people. Okay, I'm gonna talk to this dog, and I'm gonna drink the rest of my coffee, and I'm gonna go start Harry Potter book number 6, which, if I remember correctly, is my favorite book. So hopefully that is true this time as well. Hello, thank you. So let's go. Oh, now I am covered in dog fur. Well, that's gross. Okay, I'm gonna see you later. Bye.